Hello everybody, Glitch Reaper here. I'm back with another vlog. There's a few things that's kind of popped up recently with YouTube that I want to discuss. It's maybe a little bit more otherwise. The thing is, there's been some interesting changes recently that's kind of popped up, and you might need to know what's going on with YouTube. Some of it's kind of good though, so that's very nice. It's just you might not know what the world it means. Uh, the whole ring the bell thing for like a better version of notifications, that's been around for a while, but there's a few other features that's been seriously rehashed, and that's kind of what I'm in here for. But one of them is that you may or may not have heard on some channels them mentioning joining a channel, or becoming a member of a channel. That's something special. The thing is, a while back, whenever the adpocalypse supposedly happened, the thing is that a lot of YouTubers moved away from YouTube to being like streaming only, or even purposely neglected to monetize their videos in the first place. So therefore, that was depriving YouTube of their advertising revenue. And the thing is that they obviously wanted some way of getting it where they could have YouTubers directly supported more and feel more like they had something to do as more as a buffer, so that the revenue for the ads would still be going to YouTube, but they could also say that the YouTubers were compensated enough so that regardless of that, they'd still feel at home and still feel like having their videos monetized. So that's come up with this whole thing, because it's kind of like a Twitch subscription in that you pay in a bit each month. And the thing is, from what I've heard, the split with the YouTuber is actually pretty good. Like, it's like 70% or something like that. And it's only like $5 a month, and I'm going, I can kind of see where they're coming from with that. Make it small enough so that you know that you can be a patron without feeling like you're obligating too terribly much, and at the same time, the YouTuber can get compensated and everything, and get a pretty good portion of it so that they feel compensated enough where that, since that's tied in with monetizing your videos in the first place, they'd have a reason to, whenever the companies otherwise have been a little leery of that. So they're basically fighting back to try to get themselves in a better position to still be a good place for people who've been there for a long time. They don't want to lose good YouTubers. And so I can see where they're coming from with that. It's an interesting concept. It's kind of like doing it on Patreon or some other way, only it's directly through YouTube. And that way you also don't have to set up like a separate account or anything like that, or deal with other stuff like that. Now, part of it's kind of like with Patreon though as well, and YouTubers can choose to have something behind that, like things that are only for members only. I can't think of much that I do for at least for quite some time that would be like that. And you can also opt not to have anything particularly like that, and to just let it be like, if you feel like supporting them, you can. So I could see how there's all sorts of different aspects of this, and how it's a pretty positive change overall, but why you might be confused, because I've even seen some YouTubers saying, well, you can become a member of this channel. I'm like, does that mean that I get to be on their like friends thereof list or something like that? So I was confused myself at first, going, being a member of the channel, is that the same as being like as part of these networks? But no, it was totally different. It was like directly supporting them. So I'm going, okay, now I get it. So it is very possible for people at least like me to interpret that a little differently. So I wanted to make sure to clear that up in case anybody else had a similar problem. Another thing that's come up is kind of something you might be seeing more in the comments section than anything else. And I'm not just talking about the fact that you kind of need to, because of the loss of Google+, you need to kind of be, if you're a YouTuber, you need to be the one doing your first comment. So it's kind of like that, but not really, because it's a totally different aspect of the comments section. But it does have to do with that pretty big on YouTube now. And again, I might decide to pop this on both channels. I'm not sure, but it would kind of be one of those things where you might want to put this up on the news. But anyhow, the thing is that now there's a different way that hashtags are working on YouTube. The thing is, a lot of people had actually complained that you couldn't search a hashtag and that it was kind of meaningless. It was just kind of just a fun little thing to do, but at the same time, you couldn't actually like find videos specifically where somebody put that hashtag on it. Well, now you can. You can actually do that. You can search by hashtag in YouTube now. So that's kind of a cool little thing, but it has a odd little twist that made me aware of it. And I'm like, wait, what? But the thing is, now you can kind of just like mouse over it, and it'll tell you that you can search for anything with that hashtag, which is cool. Like you can click on it that way, but that's also part of the problem, or why there's a problem with it, even though it's otherwise a pretty good thing. It's that it also counts it as a link. So anybody that's got comments being held for like gauging links and stuff, that can totally go the other way because it'll be flagged. And I think they need to make some weird. I mean, I think they need to make a special exception for it or something. And I just noted my dolphin seems to be a little not present, so pardon me for a second as I dolphin, because obviously this requires a dolphin. There you go, dolphin. Like, where's your favorite toy? Yeah, there we go. There we go. Okay, but yeah, as I was saying, pardon the odd interruption to make sure my dolphin was fine. But hey, you gotta support your dolphin. But the thing is that, again, people might flag this weird. And the thing is, while being careful about spam is kind of a good thing, and YouTube has been good about that, so that there's not these weird links that go off to places that are just trying to fish you. And I don't mean in the good way. I mean the very bad way about identity theft and all that. Well, the thing is, while they've been fighting against that kind of spam, they can be a little overzealous, because sometimes there can be links that are just harmless, like ones that are like, well, here's a video that's related to that, or maybe it's a link that's just like to, well, you asked to know how you'd look this up, here's a Wikipedia link. So the thing is, it doesn't have much of a filter that says whether or not the link is to like something dangerous or is just to something benign. That's the thing, is their general link filter is a bit non well, it's a bit non-selective. So having hashtags counting as links kind of backfires on that one, because it's causing them to be held back. And I mean, again, that has its ups and downs, so there's still a little refinement that needs to be made to YouTube and how it works. Like, I can see there being like a special exception for hashtag links, as in hashtag search links that YouTube itself creates. Like, it's not like I put a link on those hashtags. It's just automatically saying, well, now you can click this and search. So it's not even a link that the person puts down. It's just something that it makes. So they need to have something special for hashtags specifically, where it's like, oh, say something pretty relevant to my MTG channel, hashtag Friday Night Magic. I mean, a lot of people are going to use that because Magic Gathering's had that tradition for a long time. So I could imagine that being a very common hashtag to throw around for like any Magic the Gathering related video. So I'm thinking that's probably going to have a lot of weird holdbacks. So yeah, they might want to refine that one a bit. But it's a recent change, and these things sometimes require some work. And so maybe if they're having a big feedback thing on YouTube again, then maybe we could say, well, this needs to be a special exception to that rule, because it's not something that's involved in bad things like phishing. It's just a fun thing to do. It's a good thing to be able to just search for if you're curious about it. Like, what if you said hashtag funny cats? You know that's going to have an absurd amount of YouTube videos searched for. Oh my gosh. Hashtag lolcat would be one of the most... it would have the most hits on YouTube ever, because let's face it, what's one of the most biggest things on YouTube is funny cats. So it's like, seriously, why would that be considered a bad thing when it obviously is going to get lots of attention and hits on YouTube everywhere. So yeah, again, they need to refine this option, or not option, but change a little bit so that hashtags are a special exception. Admittedly, I may be slightly biased because I like using them a lot, both on my videos and others, but it's just something I kind of got in the habit of after a bit of a historical run with a few things, and I've kind of really gotten into it. So I may be a little biased on that needing refinement, but admittedly, I would be one of the first to notice it needing refinement. So to be perfectly fair, I would be one of those that knows what I'm talking about when it comes to hashtagging. So yes, I definitely see the ups and downs of that one and how crazy it goes both ways. But still, it's just my opinion that they need to rethink that exact part of things just slightly to make it better. Just slightly. But I think that's kind of the majority of what I was trying to hit with here. I mean, there's a few other things, but most of them are going to be pretty obvious going forward. It's not necessarily going to be like I need a separate announcement that I haven't already made somewhere else. But those things about YouTube, they're big changes. I mean, they're pretty big. I mean, I know that there's been some other things that's kind of popped around, and now they're doing some things again to make up for the loss of Google Plus. Like now they're doing like direct Google, not Google, sorry, but now they're doing direct YouTube Friends. I don't entirely know all the things about that too, but it is basically what it's supposed to be. What I originally thought the whole becoming a member of a channel thing meant is it's supposed to be like becoming like associated friends on YouTube, but it's still a new feature as they're making up for the loss of Google Plus, so it's still being worked out. And as you could imagine, it might have a few false starts for some people because even after all this time, there's still some issues with name mimics out there. There's still a few. So trying to safeguard and make sure you got the right person that's trying to friend request you could also be a big deal. So that's something that they're still just starting up and working with. So it's totally new. So in that case, I'm just saying be cautious with invites, but at the same time, if you happen to know each other pretty well, or there's someone that has seen a lot of you over time for commentary, then it might be a wise idea to pop in. But there's a lot of these things that are just starting up on YouTube. They're very fresh, they're very new, they're very experimental. But that's the thing about YouTube, is it's always changing, and it's trying to become better. It's trying to become what people want it to be. But it will take time, it will take refinement, it will take feedback, it will take, well, lots of testing. So, yeah, YouTube is changing, we know that, but that's part of the process. And admittedly, it has had its ups and downs. Like, it's had a few times where it just wasn't figuring out what it needed to do. And it's trying to get past all that. It's trying to work its way back up to being the big #1 video site. The thing is, for a while, it actually has some decent competition that people have forgotten about, like Newgrounds. Although, admittedly, Newgrounds has been more up on Flash type videos than like videos like YouTube with like recording them in other ways. So that may be considered a bit specialty. But there have been other major entertainment outlets before and kind of since. And YouTube has to remain competitive, so its evolution will involve these kinds of experiments where we're getting new features that may require some adjustment, as I'm still driving the point home. But yeah, so there's all that to think about. And I think that's the real point here, is the general evolution of YouTube and its current state. So I think that's pretty much all I really need to say right now. So this has been Glitch Reaper. I'll be logging off. So hope to hear from you all later. And as usual, remember, yep, it's that time again. My favorite music disc. I mean, seriously, this is my favorite jam out of the vanilla music disc. It is. I mean, hey, when you've had a cat, you just know the feeling. That does come up more than once with the whole little cat thing. But anyhow, yeah. So, join the parrot party, everybody. Yay! Parrot party. With cats also enjoying. Yeah, parrot party.